quello lì sicuramente. No, no, anche questo. Ma vuoi che lo tenga acceso? Parla di qua. E
Ah no, no, mi devo
giri, tu
spostare,
vedrai.
mi devo spostare io, giusto?
No, se non giri, tu vedrai,
Ma
perché
sì.
sembra eccessivo. Ed è giro da solo.
No, 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 dove ci spostiamo, dopo posso.
Sì, no, perché se no...
Esattamente. Sì, 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 sì. Ok. So, thank you everyone for joining us today afternoon. I try to speak a little bit much. Today is the very first welcome day organized by University of Genoa together with ADI Genova. Today we have the great pleasure to have a talk from the governance of University of Genoa in the person of Professor Mario Marchese and Eliana Ruffoni, followed by a lot of the offices that in your PhD journey, your research career, you might face for any kind of issues, also some curiosity, starting from Angela Celeste Taramasso, Marina Perelli, Marco Monteverde, Stefania Ferrari, Federica Ricò, that unfortunately she can join us only remotely, but we are facing some audio and video problems. Jessica Steccone and Dalila Albergo for Prisma Project. In the end, we are going just to share with you some of our experiences as ADI Genova. But first of all, just to have more an interactive meeting, I kindly ask you to scan this code or have an access to Mentimeter, that during the meeting you have the opportunity to share with us and with all the room your insights about the PhD journey and what you would like to say to all the speakers. So thank you. And let's move with the first talk held by Professor Mario Marchese.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for coming. I am a Vice Rector for Doctoral Studies and Relations with Companies, so I am the first responsible over the activities concerning the PhD at University of Genoa. Of course, it's impossible to make a complete presentation of all the aspects that we would like to cover. I can say I try to do my best, okay, to be as complete as possible. Anyway, the presentation is available, as well as my email, which is name.surname@unige.it, okay? And you can write to me any way you want. Then we will give other references during the presentation concerning your PhD. The first thing is welcome to the University of Genoa. We are one of the first PhD in Italy. Okay, we are in the first 5, 6 places within our nation, and we are fully honored that you are here and that you have chosen Genoa, and Genoa has chosen you. Okay, so you probably already know the structure of our PhD. We have 31st PhD promoted by us, plus one, which is a PhD promoted together with other universities. And the coordination of this last PhD alternates each 3 years. Okay, in this period, we don't coordinate this PhD, and it's the PhD in philosophy. Concerning the rest, we are all other PhD courses are coordinated by our university, and they cover all the aspects of science, humanities, law, economy, as you can see by the presentation, but I don't want to waste time to present our structure because you can find it in the web. Concerning the regulation aspects of the PhD, I've chosen to have two references linked each other, okay? The first one is a national law, which is a document made by the ministry. In practice, it's a law, and it is a new law because it's dated quite recently. Pay attention that a law having less than 4 or 5 years is a recent law. So I mean, not all the universities in Italy has already completely applied the law, okay? And the second document which derives from the first one is our regulations for PhD courses. So this is the root of my presentation. I'll try to speed up the presentation, but of course you can ask questions whenever you want. You can interrupt me, you can ask questions at the end, and so on. So the aim of the PhD in general in Italy, I think throughout the world, but in particular in Italy, it's to provide the skills needed to carry out highly qualified research and pay attention now, both at university and in other institutions, such as public institutions, private entities, including companies, cultural institutions, and so on. So this is a very important aspect of our PhD here. And consequently, we would like to teach how to conceive, design, implement, adapt research and innovation programs. So it's what we would like you could do alone at the end of your PhD. To conduct critical analysis, evaluation, synthesis of new and complex ideas, contribute to the creation of a European research and higher education area. Look, concerning a PhD student, the first two elements are dominant because the other two are more related to institutions. So you should learn how to make an independent research and how to innovate. So to produce some novelties in the world, something that is not present now, okay? Both concerning academic publications and concerning products or part of products to be used in the industry or in external entities. These two aspects have exactly the same validity, okay? Because you should learn to innovate, to make something new, okay? For this motivation, we have a doctoral training. We have some rules. So we would like to train you in basic and applied research, how to conduct an attractive and critical stimulating institutional environment. And this is our role. So we'd like to install, to create this stimulating environment where you can use all your skills. So it's our duty to create a stimulating environment where you can innovate, okay? Concerning our viewpoint, he would like also to promote interdisciplinary training opportunity, including the ones developed in non-academic environments, public administration, services, cultural institutions, also involving experts of different disciplines coming from outside the university. Okay, just to create a stimulating environment and innovative knowledge. Okay, and last but not least, it's important to acquire transversal skills. Okay, transversal skills, we have courses suitable to learn how to write papers, how to write a European project, how to create a relationship with companies. Okay, all these aspects are integral part of our PhD, and they are essential to have a success in your PhD and in your future career. Okay, this is a very important initial point. Of course, from the law viewpoint, we can consequently to what I've said, we can create PhD together with other Italian universities, with foreign universities, but also with private and public research institutions, companies, public administration, cultural institutions. So, of course, the PhD by law is promoted by a university together with, okay? And we have most of our PhD which are promoted together with other institutions, also companies. That's a real change of perspective also throughout Italy, okay? Because our PhD, so our doctoral studies, according to our vision, is not and must not be only a tool dedicated to the training or future academic figures. So we don't want to create only skilled future colleagues, but also people that can determine advancement of knowledge in other institutions, possibly Italian institutions, but not only, of course. Okay? This is a change of perspective, because for many years, the PhD has been a tool to create university professors. It is no longer so for us, okay? And we are providing our best effort to implement a different PhD here at University of Genoa, at least for all, not all of you, some of you, most of you, okay? How we organize a PhD at University of Genoa, just to have a general vision. We have a commission, a committee, whose level is a sort of a consultant committee for the rector, okay? And it is composed of the vice rector for research, doctorate for PhD studies. That's me, okay? Together with the vice rector for research, for education, and all PhD coordinators compose this committee, making all the decisions concerning the PhD at University of Genoa. Okay, PhD courses, I mean. We are much helped by Dr. Ilaria Mantegazza, who is not here for professional reasons, of course, which is our administrative contact, and it also your administrative contact at not at the level of a single PhD, but at the level of the PhD at the University of Genoa, okay? She is our maximum expert of administrative rules concerning the PhD. Concerning PhD organization, we have two governing bodies concerning each single doctoral program that is more suitable for you, okay? it's more helpful for you. We have the teaching board, also called doctoral board. Actually, it is the English translation of the Italian word collegio dei docenti. So we can translate these two small words in different ways, okay? Teaching board, doctoral board are the same for us, okay, in this presentation and here at university. The teaching board is responsible for planning and implementing the doctoral program, okay? The coordinator, which is responsible of the overall organization of the course, is the coordinator of the teaching board, and he is or she is your main and first reference concerning all the aspects of your PhD. Okay? If you want to claim concerning the tutor, if you have questions concerning specific courses, he or she is the right person to ask. Okay? And he the first person to ask. Okay? For example, the coordinator implements the resolutions of the teaching board and, for example, proposes the authorization of study periods abroad to the teaching board. So all the documents concerning your period abroad, the period abroad needs to be, we will see how, we agreed with your tutor, but then all the documents must be sent to the coordinator of the PhD, okay? He, she is your first reference, okay? Of course, each of you will be assigned of a supervisor, a tutor, taking care of all scientific aspects of your PhD. Okay, you can have, of course, one or more supervisor. One of them needs to be a university professor, okay? All the other may be also from external institutions, okay? Now, the first message is, who is your first reference? Your first reference is your tutor and your PhD coordinator, okay? They are the right person where to address your questions. If they don't know the questions, but most probably they will know, but if they don't know the question, they for sure they know the right person to ask, okay? That's the first practical indication. I'm trying to make this presentation as practical as possible, okay? The duration of the PhD is 3 years at University of Genoa, and a successful PhD lasts 3 years, okay? Of course, you can ask for extensions. You may ask for different types of extensions. The first one is paid. For example, for proven reasons, of course, your tutor and your PhD coordinator will make a decision about it. For proven reasons that prevent the doctoral thesis from being submitted within the framework established by the program, the teaching board may grant, upon the doctoral student request, an extension of up to 12 months, either without additional financial burden or with additional financial burden if your department or research center is available to sustain. So this is the motivation, because you have to speak it with your tutor and your PhD coordinator, okay? Even if the extension should be granted by a department, don't look for it, okay? A successful PhD lasts 3 years. Okay, if it last 4 years, it means that something was missing in the first 3 years concerning your research. So it is not a success. It's a chance offered by the university. But you need to try to conclude it within 3 years. Of course, you can suspend the PhD for health reasons, okay? Not only the one concerning the regulation protecting parenting rights, of course, in this case, the PhD is suspended and granted, okay? But also for other health reasons. This is another thing, okay? This is not for scientific reasons, it's for health reasons. That's another viewpoint, okay? You may suspend a PhD for a maximum duration of 6 months in case you attend active educational traineeship programs, or, for example, to attend a master degree course if you want to do it, okay? They cannot be followed together, okay? But you can stop the PhD for a period, take the master, and then go on, even if I don't recommend in any way this thing, but you can do it. Okay, all suspensions and extension, except for the health reason one, may not exceed 18 months, okay? This is very important. Even in this case, you need the authorization of the teaching board. So, how the PhD is developed? Of course, you need to follow the strict indication of your tutor concerning scientific aspects. At the end of each year, you will present to the teaching board a detailed written report about your doctoral activities. Of course, the report will include your research activity, publications, and so on, teaching activities such as courses, seminars, conferences, workshops followed, experience gained outside the University of Genoa, both at university and in companies or other institutions, participation in research projects, activities developed therein, prizes and awards that you have won, okay? And typically, the doctoral board will ask you to make a presentation concerning your activities. All the activities are now submitted through a tool that we have developed with great effort, okay, which is the libretto dei dottorandi. How you can translate this libretto dei dottorandi. For example, in the USA, is translated as transcript, okay? But it may be called doctoral student record book, doctoral student booklet. So it's all the activities you have done each single PhD year. So you have an interface. So, what I have to do now? No, but no problem. So I can go on. Okay. No, no microphone is found, so it's.
She cannot.
No. Okay. So it's a mistake, of course. No problem. It's not a cyber attack. So you have this interface that I can show you where you can find it, but it's quite simple. And in this interface, you can fill this booklet during the year, even step by step, and this is presented at the teaching board at the end of the year, and it is a way to keep all the information concerning PhD in a single location. It is mandatory to submit the report through the doctoral student booklet, okay? It is also quite simple. Of course, the teaching board assesses the report and after consulting students' supervisor or co-supervisors, decides about the admission or not of the student to the following year or to the last part of the PhD. The last part of the PhD is what the board decides after the end of your PhD, so just before the exam. And we will see it in the next few minutes. Of course, if the results are not sufficient, the board proposes to direct the exclusion of the student from the course, okay? This is a very rare event, but it can happen. We can also, the teaching board can also propose that the student is excluded during the year if the activity is not is deemed not sufficient, so unsatisfactory during the year. Okay, so you could be excluded also during the year. Also, this case is very, very rare. Okay, how you can get credits during your PhD? This is a very hot topic because a lot of questions relate to this subject. Concerning the University of Genova, we have created a grid of activities through which you can acquire credits. Then pay attention that each single teaching board decide its own credit acquisition scheme. Okay? This is true even for each single course. For example, if you follow a course concerning machine learning, you can get some credits if you are following a PhD concerning computer science, and you can follow a different number of credits if you follow a course in literature. Because what counts, it's the effort provided by you to acquire these credits. Okay, it's not the number of hours, but the effort you provide. This is the motivation because the teaching board may decide differently from each single course in different PhD careers, okay? Not for single students, I mean for the PhD course. Anyway, you have to acquire 108 credits on 3-year basis, not necessarily 60 credits for each single year. It depends on the teaching board. And here you have the grids, the grid that each single teaching board is asked to follow, okay? We can read it, but what the recommendation is that in the website of your PhD must be indicated the exact way how to acquire credit in your PhD. For example, the teaching staff. The teaching staff concern PhD courses, schools, training courses, follow seminars, and similar activities. Okay, the University of Genoa says that this needs to be assigned in the 3 years course from 10 to 60 credits. Your PhD teaching board will decide how many credits you will acquire on this single voice. The voices are teaching, scientific participation, such as scientific meetings, workshop conferences, or in some cases, presentations at these meetings, national and international mobility, in Italy, abroad, a specific teaching board may decide that for the specific study is not essential to go abroad. We strongly recommend it, but this voice may have 0 value or 60 if the international aspect counts a lot for this specific PhD course. Okay, so please reference to the website of your PhD. The research activity is, of course, credited because it's the activity you are carrying out during your PhD. So it's the innovation you provide, scientific publications, awards, and then in some cases, teaching activities or events organized by students and other activities in general that may have a value for your general skills, okay? This is the way. Already mentioned, it's very important to have an idea of a website of your PhD course, because then this presentation will be delivered to you and to all the University of Genoa. So the website of each single PhD course must contain all this information, okay? If it does not, you can inform the PhD coordinator, and in case the problem is still there, you can inform me, okay? Because this is a mandatory information that needs to appear in the website of each single PhD, including how you can acquire credits, okay? Now, I don't read all the elements, they are written there, and you will find it in the presentation, okay? In this case, detailed methodology for earning credits for the degree. It needs to appear in the website of the PhD. Okay. How you can conclude the PhD? So you will write a thesis, a PhD thesis that will be sent if you are admitted, and that's the final part of the PhD. If you are admitted to this conclusive part of the PhD, your thesis will be sent to 2 reviewers that will express an opinion about your PhD thesis that can delay your discussion up to 6 months, okay? Then you will be bid anyway to the discussion, and of course, then the final exam is made in front of a special commission, decided if you will acquire the PhD or not. That's the basic information. Okay, then we have the detail of the composition of the commission, and we can skip on these details. You will be granted with a diploma supplement, which is automatically generated by using the information in the libretto dei dottorandi, so in the transcript, in the doctoral student record book, on the doctoral student book. So a button will be active there just to generate your final diploma supplement, which is your final diploma transcript, where including with the degree, you will receive a list of all the activities carried out during your PhD. Okay, this is a quite recent evolution of our PhD, which is conform to the law, because this is a law request. The scholarship is established, the minimum is established by the ministry, but the real scholarship amount depends on what appears in the Access Public Note. So in the what we call in Italian the concorso, okay? You have followed a public notice to be admitted to the PhD. In this document, you can find also the money that you will earn during your PhD. We have different situations at the University of Genoa, depending on the typology of the PhD you follow, that are conformant to the market state, okay? But you perfectly know what you will earn during your 3 years. This scholarship is increase of 50% for a total period spent abroad, not exceeding 12 months, and authorized by the teaching board. Okay, this period may be extended of 6 further months in case your doctoral program is co-supervised by a foreign institutions or university. You have, pay attention, all of you will have available a budget which is at least 10% of your scholarship available to be used during your PhD, okay? The unused funds each year can be carried over to subsequent years, but they must be strictly used before the end of the scholarship, okay? After the end of the scholarship, so when you end the PhD, when the scholarship ends, these funds are no longer available, so you have to spend it before, okay? Of course, with the authorization of the PhD coordinator. What this money can be used for? We have a long list, this is here, but essentially purchase of what is needed for your PhD concerning tools, concerning software, concerning chemical substances, authorized by law, of course, and purchase of books and journals, registration fee for conferences and lectures, membership fees, publication costs, a lot of things, all related to your PhD. You can ask to spend it for any of these elements, okay? The external experience, the experience abroad, or at least outside the University of Genoa, is strongly encouraged by us. I recommend a period of at least 6 months, at least, but also I'd say 6 months is a right period, just to learn something outside the university, but not forgetting what we are doing here, okay? The period needs to be decided in strict contact with your tutor and PhD coordinator, and it is authorized by the teaching board. Okay, if it is not authorized, the scholarship is not increase of 50% because it's a personal choice. Okay, rights and duties of doctoral students. Some rights have been already highlighted before. The first indication I want to give is that a PhD course is an exclusive and full-time commitment. Okay, we cannot call it a job because it is not a job, but is exclusive and full-time as a job. Okay, it's a very serious period of your life. Okay, it's a bet for your future. It is not a waste of time. Okay, it's not a period where you need to earn money additional to the one assured by the PhD. You know this money. You know the money you will earn. It's your choice. But after that is an exclusive and full-time commitment, and you know it, okay? Of course, the teaching board may authorize the doctoral student to carry out paid activities, allowing them to acquire skills related to the doctoral program. So if you go to a company and you are paid by this company, this is okay. If you do things related to PhD, if you do other things, it's not okay and it will not be authorized. Is it okay? Is it clear? Okay. The right stands in the fact that you can earn additional money, but for things related to the PhD. That's the point, okay? So the compatibility of such activity with successful performance of the educational, teaching, and research activity of the doctoral program needs to be checked before the authorization. And it will be done by the teaching board, by the coordinator of the PhD. This amount of money that you can earn additional to the scholarship has a limit, and the limit fixed by the University of Genova is the maximum limit fixed by the law, which is the exact amount of your PhD scholarship. You cannot earn more, okay? In practice, you can double your scholarship for activities concerning the PhD. Of course, you can also carry out as integral part of your training program, and again, subject to the approval of the teaching board, tutoring activities, including paid tutoring of students for undergraduate or graduate degree programs. And you can, up to 40 hours for each academic year, you can do supplementary teaching activities. So you can have the professor during during the lectures, okay, preparing the material, making exercises and so on. But of course, you cannot be official orders of university courses. It's forbidden by the law, okay? Which is the compatibility of PhD with other educational initiatives. The table is in Italian because it's taken directly by the ministry. So you can, even if I don't agree, okay, but it's the law, and the law is the law. So you can do your PhD together with a laurea degree, with a laurea magistrale degree, with a specialization school, but only if it is conformant with the development of your PhD, okay? Practically, if attendance is mandatory, you can enroll to just one course whose attendance is mandatory, okay? And even in this case, we need to check. It's not conformant with joining a master. That's the motivation we have to suspend a PhD to join a master, and it's not conformal with another PhD in another university. The medical specialization schools deserve a special attention. There is a special part of the law dedicated to them. In case of special interest, you can enter this detail, but I'd say not now, okay? Medical specialization schools have special rules together with the PhD. Your opinion. Your opinion is not only important for us, it is mandatory for us, and of course also for you. So in September, October of each single year, you will be asked to evaluate your PhD course in an anonymous form in this website, and you will be asked to answer some questions about your PhD concerning general organization, educational offer, research activity, tutoring activity, assessment procedure, conclusive statements, and so on. So this evaluation has an impact, okay, on the management of the PhD at University of Genova. So it is really important. It is a very serious thing that it must be conducted in a very serious way. So you need to be conscious that it is an important part of your PhD, and it is important for us. Okay, you can be severe, but very honest. Okay, don't fail this part by chance, because it has an impact on your PhD, on the funds of the PhD will receive in the next years. Okay. So the access of the questionnaires is mandatory and is essential for completing the doctoral student booklet and for the admission to the following year of the final part of the PhD. In other words, you must access the questionnaire, otherwise you cannot be able to complete your record and be admitted to the following year or to the final part of the PhD. Of course, you cannot compel it, you feel all the voices. So you can enter the questionnaire. There's a special cross saying that you don't want to complete the questionnaire, and you can do it, but you have to enter the questionnaire, okay? So we need to know, of course, anonymously, that you don't want to fill the questionnaire. Good. Don't forget to upload your research product on the IRIS platform. This is very important for us and also for you, for your future. To complete your transcript, so the libretto dei dottorandi, and to complete the questionnaire. Possible problems that will be also discussed in the next presentations. You can feel isolated upon your arrival here. We will create also together with the ADI events to try to solve this problem. We know that you have an economic uncertainty. The scholarship is not so high, but I remark you know it before, okay? We will do our best to help also concerning this aspect. And the instability and precarious employment feeling. It's a period of investment for you, okay? And exactly as an investment for future is unstable and precarious, but you can get a lot for your PhD, okay? Then we will do our best to help you for the relationship with the police headquarters. And you can also make some courses concerning some doubts about intellectual property. But it is dedicated to other presentations and courses. So again, welcome to Genoa and welcome to your PhD. And thank you for coming here for this day. Okay, thank you a lot. That's okay. If there are questions, I'm here also later, offline, when you want, okay?
Thank you, Professor, for your detailed presentation. Okay. Now I leave the stage to Eliana Ruffoni.
First of all, welcome here. They already said that. Second of all, you will excuse me for my bad English. I'll try to do my best, but I know it's not the best. So be patient with me. I am Eliana Ruffoni. You see my name there. I'm a spokesperson for the rector in this university and the head of communication, media, web, and social media. It's a large amount of work for a single sector, and we are a small amount of people in that sector. So we do our best. I will be very quick and give you some advice and indication. I think and I know it will be useful for you. How is communication organized in UNIGE? You see three kinds of communication. The institutional one. Let's think about you have a king or an ambassador that comes here and you have to welcome him. Let's think about King Charles of England. He'll come here, go inside, and you go there, run in front of him and say, "Hey, Charlie, welcome." You cannot do that, you know? You agree with me? You cannot be so familiar with such a kind of person. So we have an entire office that will take, among other questions, they will take care of all the ceremonial activities. That includes this kind of activities, okay? I know it sounds very old style, but believe me, it's very important. You can go into a large number of troubles if you cannot pay attention on these things. Think of how do you call the flags when you have such visiting diplomatic or political. The internal communication is the management of the intranet. You are not very familiar with that, my colleagues are, because it's an area on our website that it's thought to be useful for us, for technical personnel, for professors, and so on, not for the students. And external communication, which is the main part of my work. I take care of this. That includes the press office, using the publishing of news, information, all above our sites. Websites, I mean. Those kind of information, communication, those kinds of offices that take care of this, okay? You see there our references, our email. I don't know, maybe you already know, but all our contacts and references are at UNIGE/N Comunicazione, that page, but also on the rubrica, rubrica.unige.it. Do you know the rubrica? Someone say yes or not? Okay. If you are looking for my contact, you go to rubrica, and I'm very proud to say that not one follower is there because we bought it, okay? We didn't spend a single penny, we can say that, buying followers or something like that. That is not our way to do things. Okay, these are increasing in these years from first year I was here to December last year. You see, always increasing, not bad. We are using Telegram. Follow, if you can, our Telegram channel, because we post there our meteorological weather alert, warning. I know somebody in your department, your course, your PhD career, whatever, will ask you, "Oh, you look so smart. Why don't you open our Instagram profile?" No, the answer is no. It's no. Don't open any profile for group, department, structure, your PhD course. No, not at all, not at all. Because of, I cannot say the number of problems that involved, okay? Please, if you have something to say and to be known by public, or general public, or kind of public, write to us, contact us, write me, contact me, send a material, a text, something, a poster, something that I will understand what are you talking about. It's my job and my pleasure to publish it, okay? Don't do it by yourself. Today, you are the best social media manager in your organization. Tomorrow, you will be the best, I don't know, biologist otherwhere, and your site, your profile will be dead. That's a bad point for our university in terms of evaluation. So please don't open any social profile for your activities. Ask us, refer to us. Okay?
Good afternoon. Thanks to the people that organized this event. I am Angelo Celeste Tramasso. I am the Rector Advisor of Equal Opportunity and Inclusion from the University of Genoa, and I am the coordinator of the work package Equality, Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement in the Alliance of Lyceums. My presentation is very short because I have received information about 5 minutes, then I present only little points. And I wish only to say that UNIGE followed the Sustainable Development Goals. Probably do you know that. And in particular, in my activity, I am really focused on Sustainable Development Goals 5, gender equality, but obviously in gender equality, education, reduce inequalities, and obviously peace, justice, and strong institutions. This is one of the conditions. One of the colleagues that are now on this floor present in more detail the equal opportunity community. It is a very important committee that is a characteristic of the University of Genoa. The other university has not this type of committee, and it's very important because it is a committee in which it's possible to discuss, to receive the information from students and personnel. Is equal opportunity because in this committee there are students, professors, and technical staff, and in particular this committee wishes to promote the effective equality among genders within the university staff. It obviously that after this committee, it is necessary that we have information, and for this reason we collect the information that is collected on the gender budget that is present on the website of CPO, and the gender equality plan that is very important not only to have a picture, an image of the situation inside of the university, but a document fundamental to receive funds from the European projects. We have also the trusted advisor, and then there is a presentation from the advocate layers Federica Ricco. Then it is only to present what is present inside of the university. This is another figure that is present in particular of the University of Genoa. Not all university has this type of figure. And then we have obviously the third mission that cover all the sustainable development goals, and in particular the condition of the possible action to contribute to social, cultural, and economic development, obviously in the use of knowledge and lifelong of public and engagement actions. In the University of Genoa, we have the ethical code. Also, this is a fundamental for the respect of all people. And in particular, this ethical code is based on the following principles: human dignity and equality, legal integrity and correctness and professionalism, freedom of teaching and scientific results. And now this point is very important, in particular in this period, in the world of this condition: impartially transparency, loyalty, collaboration, and efficiency. Another document very important is the code against mobbing in UNIGE, and this code is applied to the whole university community, consisting of teachers, students, technical, and administrative staff. Then it is the main structure that you can find inside the University of Genoa. All of these structures are obviously open to receive information, requests, and so on. And obviously, it is necessary that we remember that the University of Genoa is open and is very important. Last information, but not least, I'm very happy to be here because I followed the second cycle of the doctoral degree. Then I am the holder inside here. Okay. For any question, you have in my first slide the email. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Okay. Please.
Thanks so much. Thanks in advance for your attention. My name is Giuseppe Pestarino. I work in a sector which organizes services for including students with disability and specific learning disorders with certificate enrolled in University of Genoa. Briefly, I would like to introduce some of our services provided by our sector. For example, front office activities, support from enrollment through the ending to the studying courses, providing services during admission tests for restricted access courses of assessment tests, or information support for school disability, special learning disorder coordinators, because we have coordinators, professors who coordinate every area of University of Genoa for disability and specific learning disorder. Then we support with informative meetings about services provided by our sector, mediation activities with the school coordinators and university professors. And now, step by step, I try to explain briefly some of our services as individual assistants. For example, this service aims to facilitate mobility and provide individual support to students with disability, supporting them inside university life, supporting students for facilitating the inclusive pattern of classrooms, toilet services, and university canteen. Then we have Italian Sign Language interpreting. The service is provided by professionally trained interpreters. It enables deaf signing students to attend, follow lectures, communicate and socialize with other students, and study with peer tutors. Then we have also another service, augmentative and alternative communication. This service provides operators with skills, techniques, and strategies needed to support communication for individuals who had difficulty using usual communicating channels, particularly verbal channel and writing. Then we also support students with loan-assistive devices and software. Specifically, we support with a specialized software for the entire period of their academic studies. Then we have another service, very important for us, is a peer academic tutoring. This service provides students with support in academic activities in which they find specific difficulties. Tutor supports in developing and organizing the course program in agreement with the school coordinators and university professors. Tutor may support a student both during lectures or outside class hours, supporting them for understanding better challenging topics in preparation of the exams. Then we have another kind of tutoring, peer tutoring. There are students who support students in supporting in administrative procedures, finding course staff, filling in studying plans, attending meetings with school coordinators and university professors, taking notes during lectures, and reviewing lecture contests. They can also acting as a reader-writer during exams, specifically for students with specific learning disorders. Briefly, our contacts, if you need some specific information, we can contact us, our delegate of director, Professor Claudio Torrigiani, or our office. This is our email address, inclusione point, studenti.info.unige.it, and our website. I would like to convey greetings of our head sector, Marina Perelli, my colleagues, and our director, Dottoressa Antonella Bonfà. Well, thanks so much for your attention.
Now, Monteverde.
Good afternoon to everyone. So I am Marco Monteverde. I'm a CPO member, and I'm a PhD student, just like you, that started this year. So we are very close in situation. I understand all your problems and all your stuff pretty well because I'm in too. So CPO stands for Comitato per le Pari Opportunità, and it has also an English name. It stands for Equal Opportunities Committee of the University of Genoa. What is it? It's a statutory body composed of 10 members. There are 4 members, at least 2 women, for parity reasons, elected in the technical administrative staff of our university. There are other 4 members, at least 2 women, elected by its faculty members, so professors, and there are 2, one of which is me, elected by student representatives of the governing bodies, so 2 students from bachelor, master, or PhD. So this is the Statuto of Ateneo that I translate for you. So I read, the committee promotes equal opportunities for all university members, proposing measures and actions aimed at preventing and combating any form of discrimination based on sex, race, ethnic origin, religion, personal beliefs, disability, age, sexual orientation to the university bodies and the general management. So it means that if you have any problem regarding discrimination and something that you want to signal to us, you can always come to the CPO and tell us, and we will try our best to help you. So, but more in concrete, what the CPO do. So I try to represent our main objectives in these points. They are not all the things we do, but the main ones. So we collaborate in creating documents such as the Piano Integrato di Attività and Organizzazione, the PIAO, the Bilancio di Genere, that is the gender balance, and the Gender Equality Plan. And then we participate in working groups and commissions, many working groups and commissions regarding different topics in equality. We provide support for conferences and activities related to the objectives of the CPO, organized also from other members of the other bodies of the university, but we support them. We carry out awareness campaigns such as Finisce Qui, that is one campaign that we concluded last year and it was very successful, but also other awareness campaigns. If you go into the spaces of the university, you will probably see a lot of signs or a manifesto around. A lot of them are done by us. And we then propose innovation and positive actions such as the alias career path or caregiver benefits. If someone needs, for example, to be recognized with a different name, we have the alias career to do so. It's a possibility that the Unige offers, and it's pretty important. I think that it's worth mentioning. And then we collect reports of critical issues from all university members, as I said before, and we direct them to the most appropriate service to resolve them. But to understand better all of this, I have prepared a case study. A very simple case study that happened. So a student contacted, this is at past, the CPO because she had been experiencing difficulties with career blocks due to her pregnancy. So a student that was in pregnancy that needed our help. So what we did to her. So the CPO first directs her to the appropriate office or support service and helps wherever possible to try resolving the specific issue. And in a second moment, the CPO assesses the situation and, if necessary, proposes changes to the regulation to the university or positive actions to make the resolution of the problem structural. In this specific case, the problem was that the pregnancy was not considered a medical problem, so it triggers career blocks. And so we managed to propose changes to the regulation in order to include pregnancy in a delicate situation that should overcome these blocks. So here are our contacts, and you can write to our email, that is cpo@unege.it. And to discover all the initiative, we have our website. Stay tuned, because we do a lot of stuff, and if there's any problem, you can always contact us.
The diffusion of different posters of the publication of the events of hashtag Finisce Qui now is also in English, and this publishes the hashtag It Finish Here Now. And it's very important because it was one of the examples as we can to start to become an internationalization university. Then these documents are all available now in English. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt, for your presentation.
Thank you for the speaker. I'm calling on the stage Steccone Ferrari Ricco. Ricco is from remote.
Hello, good evening. I'm Steccone Jessica, and I am cognitive psychotherapist with a master's degree in psychology, and I'm working for the University Counseling Service, where I manage intake interview with the students. I'm working closely with my team. The team of counseling consists of Patrizia Minetto, psychologist and psychotherapist, Alberta Alcetti, psychology and psychotherapist, and Valeria Moisello, psychology and psychotherapist. The Insieme Psychological Counseling Service was born in 2018, and it is created through a partnership between the University Orientation and Tutoring Service and Department of Educational Sciences, DISFOR. Psychological counseling is provided free of charge to all UNIGE students, undergraduate, PhD or specialization, and it is designed for those who live critical moments of growth or change due to personal and study-related difficulties. The service is divided in two main areas: emotional and relational, about emotional and interpersonal issues, and learning, about study-related and motivational difficulties. It works from Monday to Friday. The service operates by appointment, and students can apply by filling out the online form on the UNIGE website. We are here to help you sort it out together. The service aims to provide students with, for example, deeper self-awareness, activation of personal resources, and support for personal change processes. We have individual counseling and group counseling, and the individual counseling process includes, after filling out the form, a call to book first meeting. The estimated waiting time is about 3 weeks from the form to the first call. The first meeting is via Teams with me to explain the service, collect the consent, and assess the students' need. Together, we book your first session together. The session cycle is about 5 regular sessions, weekly or bi-weekly, as the students prefer, online or in person, as the students prefer. And there is a final review meeting after about 3 months. So in total are 6 sessions. In addition to one-on-one session, the service also offers group experiences. All students can request to join group counseling through the online form on UNIJ website. The next group starts in February. And there is a screening. Candidates will have an introductory interview to join in the groups, or may also counselors suggest the group participation during the individual session. The groups focus on themes related to anxiety and stress management, as well as the management of study habits and academic activities. Group counseling are scheduled with weekly or bi-weekly meetings, followed by a final follow-up as the individual counseling. Groups have 6 to 8 students and led by the staff psychologists, and a minimum of 6 participants is desired to start. At the end, it's okay to ask for help. And in the first one cycle, there was a form, but it disappeared. Okay. The service is located in Piazza dell'Annunziata 6, and the counseling service is available via Teams and in person. In the first one cycle, there was our form if you want to take a photo, and we can find us on the UNIJ website in the page of the counseling. Thank you for your attention. Have a good evening.
Vado con questo, vero? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Genova University. I hope you still have attention and you are not too tired. I'll be very short. My name is Stefania. I'll be very quick. My name is Stefania Ferrari. I'm a psychologist, and I'm going to introduce the listening point. The listening point. The objective of the listening point are to promote safety, respect, and protection. The listening point offers individual consultation in a protected space for listening, support, and information following experiences of violence and discrimination that have been suffered, perpetrated, or witnessed. It offers welcome and listening for situations of individual and relational distress that have developed within the university environment. It provides initial guidance and basic information on legal aspects, on how to contact the university institutional bodies, the competent authorities, and the networks of services. For example, anti-violence center, listening centers for men who perpetrate violence. So in Italy, we have a center not just for women who suffer for violence, but even for men who perpetrate violence. So this is an important point to know. During the year, we did a lot of workshop activities. The activities are aimed to the entire academic community to raise awareness, to prevent and combat gender-based violence. The activities aim to counteract prejudice, stereotypes related to the role of the female gender in different life contexts, particularly in the area of educational and career guidance. So, we promote a culture of equal opportunities as a means of preventing violence against women and discrimination against women and sexual discrimination. How to access to the listening point, you can ask through the email puntodiascolto@unige.it an appointment, or you can come on Monday from 12 to 2 o'clock, or on Friday from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock. The service, il punto di ascolto, is at the moment in Via Balbi 5, 5th floor, room 27. So if you need any help, or if you know someone is suffering about violence or discrimination, you can suggest to write to the punto di ascolto @unige.it. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for the speaker. Now we are going to listen Avvocato Federica Riccò from remote, and lately Dalil Albergo for Prisma and Adi. Let me... Dove fai? A posto. Mi date...
Good afternoon, everyone. This time is short, but first of all, I'd like to thank who organized this day and thank them for involving me. I'm Federica Riccò, and I've been the trusted advisor at the University of Genova for just under a year. I'd like to briefly outline the role of trusted advisor. The questions I'll try to answer today are essentially two. Who is the trusted advisor, and what does the trusted advisor do? At first, let's define the trusted advisor. She's a professional, sometimes a lawyer, sometimes a psychologist, external to the university organization, tasked with implementing the principle contained in the Code of Conduct, tasked with helping to overcome the discomfort and restore a peaceful work environment or a study environment. She provides consultancy, assistance, and training. All this to combat discrimination, mobbing, and harassment and violence in the workplace or in study environment. I would like to provide a brief analysis of the function and activities of the trusted advisor. The trusted advisor is in charge of addressing any difficult situation that may arise in a workplace or in a study context. The trusted advisor detects and manages difficult situations and attempts to resolve them. The trusted advisor is established and operates in accordance with the internal code of conduct. The code establishes substantive and procedural role for the advisor activities. These rules specifically outline the trusted advisor's action. The code of conduct defines the boundaries and the trusted advisor responsibilities and scope of operation. If you want to contact my office, the email address is consulentefiducia@unige.it. How does trusted advisor work? The trusted advisor can assist in identifying the nature of the problem or the conflict, recommending the most appropriate method for resolve the case, and to reach her goals, the trusted advisor may interview any witnesses or other individuals that knows the situation being reported, and may also assess administrative documents related to the case in question. These activities help the advisor to reconstruct the context in which the events occurred. As I mentioned, the trusted advisor is external to the university, but works within the university. Therefore, she also interacts with other elements within the organization. For example, the head of the department, the Human Sources Office. The trusted advisor propose is to suggest appropriate action to ensure a work or a study environment that respects the freedom and the dignity of individuals.
I think we talk is done. Now let's move to Dalila. Okay. Please. Dalila Albergo for Prisma.
Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to the University of Genova, and to Genova if some of you is not from here, first of all. I'm Dalila Albergo, and I was a PhD student till 2 years ago, 1 year and a half, something like that. I'm part of ADI, so I'm a member of ADI, but today I'm here as I'm working in the University of Genova on a project that is called Prisma, that stands for Promuovere risorse individuali e sociali nel mondo accademico. That basically is promoting individual and social resources in the academic world. So translated means being aware of students' well-being. This project is coordinated by Professor Cecilia Serena Pace, and both she and I belong to the DISFOR department. That is the Department of Education. That if you know, via 20 Settembre is basically located there. So it's a really nice building if you want to come and visit us. This project was built because the ministry one day woke up thinking, well, we should invest some funds on students and to improve their well-being. So basically, universities created some networks within. Okay, don't mind. So universities created some. Okay, this is weird. Anyways, it's time. That's why, could be. I'll be quick, I promise I'll be quick. So basically, universities created networks because the main point is, okay, let's meet together and work on the policies and on things that actually make students, that could make students feel good. Okay. So we work through 3 different actions: research, activities, sorry, and psychological counseling. I'm basically working on the research, so that's what I'll talk to you more about. But I'll also briefly mention the other 2 areas. So how did we do research about this? It's super hard, and I will show you why. But it's also super useful. That's why it's the first area, because research can inform what we can do next, basically. And this is not only valid for social sciences, but for everything, as you will discover in your PhD. So we use an online survey to ask students how they were, basically on different topics. So well-being in general, satisfaction within the university. We also had a part on addictions, for example. So we wanted to assess how students are at 360 degrees, basically, okay? The aim was, of course, to reach all of the students in the University of Genoa, not only undergraduate students, but also postgraduate students, so including PhD students. That's why I'm here today. But of course, we couldn't reach all of the student community. So on the left, you can see the results for the whole sample that we could collect. So all of the students that filled our survey. And we collected almost 10%. We collected data from almost 10% of the students enrolled in the University of Genova, so almost 3,500 answers. And on the right, you will see some really brief and descriptive results for the postgraduate group. So basically, PhD students, but also postgraduate students who are doing their, in Italian we would say specializzazione. So if you think, for example, at medicine, after you graduate in medicine, then you can do studies. More specific studies. I also discovered, was my ignorance, that you have specializzazioni not only in medicine, but for example, there is in law, there is in architecture, so there is lots of areas where you can do postgrad courses. In this case, we collected data from almost 8% of the students enrolled in the university. So here I will show you the data relative to different psychological aspects, mainly the bad ones. So stress, anxiety, and depressive symptoms. And I will tell you why after. So in the whole group and in the postgrad group, we found stress levels on average compared to the general population. But we also found scores above the clinical threshold in 36% of the sample about anxiety symptoms and 32% about depressive symptoms. What does this mean? So we used screening tests. Of course, we couldn't conduct deep tests for all the constructs that we had. This data is telling us that those people, people who are in those percentage could have a deeper investigation about these two areas. That's the basic meaning of potential clinical threshold. So these data are not telling us, okay, you have a problem. No, this data is telling us in those cases there might be a problem. You could investigate more. I'm talking at the single subject level. In the postgrad students, there is a lower I wouldn't have expected so, a lower percentage about anxiety symptoms and a similar percentage about depressive symptoms. However, if we look at both anxious and depressive symptoms above the clinical threshold, we could find 23% in the whole population, but a bit higher percentage in the postgrad population. So this means that if you combine anxiety and depressive symptoms, the percentage of people passing the clinical threshold is higher in the postgrad student cohort. There's a declaration I have to make. So this is a pure description. We didn't run any tests to compare the different samples. So it's just descriptive data. Also, you have to think that these are not, let's say, difficulties that only students have. So you also and always have to relate to the general population. This means that if you go outside academy, it's not the case that you will find 0% in all of this data. Okay. So what I wanted to report here is just a descriptive difference within the university between the subsample of the postgrad students and the general sample of students at the University of Genova. So I don't want to generalize. That's it. I wanted to report some qualitative feedback because at the end of the questionnaire we asked students how they felt joining our survey and how they would rate or assess the experience of joining our survey. Someone said it was nice, it was okay. Someone said, I felt nice completing this survey. It kind of gives you a reality check on how you feel. Someone said they felt important as a person as well as a student. I believe it is essential to investigate students' well-being as they are the central members of the community as a whole. So this was the nice side. The less nice side. The suggestion I would make is to implement, especially in PhD programs, much more thorough monitoring to assess students' psychological well-being and provide support. So this is telling us that this is a theme within the PhD course. Another, and there's a specific reason why I mentioned this. I hope at least that it was just truly useful and not just an opportunity for you to speak for 15 minutes at a conference or to write a paper that the reviewers will barely read. So this points out some different aspects that reviewers don't read the papers. I could kind of agree sometimes. But also it's our duty as researchers to make the general public and our experimental subject to be aware of what we're doing, why we're doing so, to make them feel important because they are for our research, but also to make the general population know why these public fundings are used to improve research. And if we couldn't tell or make this person understand this, it's just basically our fault, I would say. So how to overcome this? For example, being here. And of course, we go to conferences, and we will. And this is one of the duties that our researchers have, that is to share their results. So I will go really quick on this. So if you go to our website, you will see that since last year, we are having lots of different activities that are free for everyone, including PhD students. And the aim is to provide tools to make students feel good, to get to know each other, to promote socialization, to promote awareness about their feelings. So for example, we had mindful tracking, we had sports activities in collaboration with the University Sports Center. We also had some activities jointly for faculty staff, administrative staff, and students. So for example, next to here, there is the Ludoteca di Ateneo. So basically a place where there is dozens of board games you can go to, you can freely use them, you can play whenever you want, basically. And we had some game nights. They were really cool, actually, because you could challenge your professor to play any kind of game you wanted to. And then we also have activities for professors in order still to help students. So for example, how to manage conflict, how to manage stress, how to, I don't know, recognize some signs of suffering that the students brings up to them. And then we have also activities for consultants at the counseling service. Number 3, and I'm closing, we also implemented some new possibilities for the psychological counseling service. So for example, we had a specific psychologist and psychotherapist working with students at the Gaslini Hospital because we received this kind of need from the students and the university professors themselves. We also have a specific person working with international students, not only because of the language, but also because of the cultural changes that students have. So changing country, changing city, changing language, and Genova is not a super English friendly city. Even when you go to the grocery, they would tell you like, oh. So the cultural change is big, and the person working there is aware of these dynamics, so you could work on this with her. We also have a little service for professors in order to help them managing some specific situation with students facing some difficulties. And I don't know if some of you is Iranian, but we have, there will be tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. A group specific for Iranian students, and this group was born from some requests from the students themselves, working with this psychotherapist specialized on cultural processes. So given the needs that the students were sharing, this group was born, and they will meet tomorrow if any of you is interested. Super end. I will briefly read this. This was feedback given us by a student, not in their PhD, but in a specialty. I believe it is very important to try to understand students' well-being. Unfortunately, I had a negative experience related to the first school I have chosen, which left me no space for myself as the schedule was insane, from 8 a.m. to 8 or 9 p.m. every day. This led me to an episode of major depression, resulting in a 1-month psychiatric hospitalization, followed by a difficult period involving medication and psychotherapy. I had never had problems before. I later left the specialization program and started another one, in which I felt extremely comfortable, both in terms of the environment and the professional and academic opportunities. I therefore had yet another confirmation that the environment had been unhealthy, and that it was not like that everywhere. It would be desirable to propose this type of questionnaire and awareness initiatives to the leadership, to promote supportive professional environments without forcing individuals to sacrifice other areas of their life. So from the words of this person, you can read all of the single steps of their journey. So the environment they were at the beginning was definitely unhealthy. And they say, I had never had problems before. So this, fortunately, is followed by a change that they decided to do, but also the awareness that in that case, the problem was the environment, and also the awareness that changing the environment basically changed everything in their life. So I would like to thank you for coming here and listening to me at almost 6 p.m. If you're curious about our project, you can scan the QR code or go to our website. I didn't mention this at the beginning, but now the second edition of the project started. So during the whole year, you will probably receive our emails. Not anymore to join the survey, but just to join our activities. If you want, they're all free. And there you can find some cards that we are sharing with basically professors. But if you want, you can definitely have one in which all of the services that I listed you before are written, and every contact is there. Thank you. And welcome to your PhD.
Thank you, Dalila. So I would not like to ask you for more time. So I'm going to say something about ADI. Do you know something about ADI? Okay. Someone, at least in the room, at least the coordination. So basically, ADI stands for Associazione Dottorandi e Dottori di Ricerca in Italia. What do we do actually? We stand for researcher and PhD scholar rights, duties, work, and so on, because our focal work is just around the concept that research is work. Around the years, we following indication from the various branches at national level that indicate the academic and civic freedom of each scholar. University as a pillar for the society. We are really focused also on the environmental justice and sustainability. And we represent basically PhD scholar and researcher from University of Genoa toward the national parliament. In the almost 10 years of the life of this association, we had the pleasure and the honor to follow many projects, basically ADI for Inclusion, focused on mental health, scientific writing, and a lot of networking opportunity. For this year, we would like also to ask you for your interest, if you would like to join us, because joining ADI Genova for me has been the possibility to not just say my problem to my peers in my department, but also find the right spot to answer that question. That sometimes will be just academic questions, sometimes are more personal questions. Because in ADE I found a lot of what in other university would be the PhD buddy, you know? Someone that you can refer to when you have some problems. We are here because we thought that have an opportunity to talk also with the governance, with the offices, that during the life of a PhD scholar are fundamental, are not just, you know, some representation flags on the map, are fundamental. And have the opportunity to communicate and share in this journey will help you because most of the members right now are postdocs, and I can assure you that this kind of moment would be really appreciated at the beginning of our journey. So we are split in many team groups if you would like to join us, also in some specific part. And I would like to leave you with a quote from Pierpaolo Pasolini to remember to you and to us unimportant stuff, that development is different from progress. And university scholars stay right in that difference. And we have to remember that we are not just doing research for the purpose of a paper, of a startup, of our investment. We are here because we are thinking that also the human growth is fundamental. For this year also, I would like to remember that is occurring the 10-year anniversary of the murdering of Giulio Regeni. And we thought to dedicate our membership card to Giulio this year. So, thank you. And if you would like to join us to have more communication also for the slide and the materials of today, you can drop us a message, drop us an email. Here I summarize all the contact of us just to be quicker. And thank you for your attention, for your attendance. And also I would like to mention all the speakers of today for their important and crispy talk. And let's see soon.